Hello, welcome to the Candid Cast with Lucky Egede. We are continuing our study on the need for planning for every success. Our conclusion is that success can never be an accident, it must be planned. And we have talked about what success is, the elements of it, the need to plan it, and today in this fourth episode, we'll be talking about working on your mindset, because success and failure are products of the mind. It starts with the mind. So before we continue in today's episode, if you are joining us for the first time, please click the notification button so you will know when any episode is published. It's usually published every Monday. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you for staying tuned to the Candid Cast. Do like and share also to reach a wider audience. So today's topic is working on your mindset. I describe my mindset, the way we can understand it is like when you go to where builders are working, they mix concrete and pour it on the ground. Before it is set, if a lizard runs on it, it will make marks on it, and anybody can disrupt that work at that time. But when it casts, like normally they said, concrete takes about 28 days to reach its full strength. At that point, you need jackhammer, you need all manner of things to break it, and you remove the props on the slab. People can stand on it, live there, organize their parties and ceremonies there, because it is set. The same way our minds work. You find minds that are set on something negative, like one form of laziness that so easily take people over, and they live in denial for a lifetime, is mental laziness. We don't want to adjust our minds. So the brain is fixed, is cast, just like that concrete that I described. So there is a state of mind where you get comfortable in failure because you have someone to blame for it. Those who live within blame, they make blame your enclave. Once you just say, oh, it's because of where I was born, because of the country I live, because of the type of leadership, because of the type of parents I had, because there was no light in Nigeria, and so many things that you can just form excuse, and you become comfortable inside failure because you have somebody to blame for it. It's a mindset. Today we are saying, if you work on that mindset and you pull yourself out of it, inside that situation where you are, people are making success. So if you plan, you can make yourself accountable for your own success, for what you become, for all your outcome, rather than look for somebody. So to really plan, you need to do lots of work on your mind and change how you see failure or setbacks. So why will you plan? To encourage you to plan, we will start with looking at several benefits of planning. Planning can be tough, a tough exercise in itself. I recall some years ago, my secretary asked, what value does a quantity surveyor add to your building works? I said, the quantity surveyor helps to determine the quantities of materials needed on a project so we can plan our procurement and know when we are requested by the contractor to buy much more than the project requires. We would have known in advance because we planned what quantities we need of each material before we move to site. She said she will never hire such a skill. She will use her money, the money I will use to pay quantity surveyor, I will use it to go and buy my cement. If the cement is finished, I will know, I will buy more. That's how she wants to run without planning. So difficult as it is to plan, the benefits of planning makes it expedient and indispensable. Let's look at some key benefits of planning. Number one, you gain a sense of being in control. You know, I've talked about those who don't plan, they blame. If you plan, you take control. If you don't plan, you blame. All your failures will be tied to the type of government. Since I was born, I've never seen good government. There is no time people say the government is good or better than the one before it. So if you are waiting for government to blame, you will die inside failure. And there will always be enough people to blame for it. So planning itself empowers you by giving you a sense of being in control. Where there are no plans, we feel powerless, leaving every activity to every wind that blows in society. A sense of being in control eliminates the state of anxiety and lowers stress level that comes from uncertainty. When you don't plan, everything is uncertain. It's tied to what people do around you. Planning helps you to predict the future. Not all challenges should take you by surprise. There are things a planner anticipates things. There is an opportunity to anticipate problems and get prepared for them, reducing uncertainty and making it easier to cope with stress. Daily stress are everywhere. It abounds with people, but if you anticipate them in advance, it doesn't shock you like somebody who did not see it coming. Number 2, planning gives mental clarity and focus. Goals are clear. In planning, you define goals. It's clear. Priorities are defined. I recall somebody that you want to do Christmas, you are buying Christmas clothes for children, and you didn't remember those children will go back to school in January. So they wear all the new clothes, and by January they have no school fees. The going back to school came as a surprise because there was no plan for it. So when you plan, priorities are defined. They are set in order. Energies are channeled towards what is important at the time. What do I need in December? Is it planning children going back to school in January or planning Christmas clothing? Tasks are defined and broken down to manageable bites, eliminating mental fatigue. So those stress of the head, they are reduced. You are not pushed and pressed like other people because you know in advance what you wanted and you work towards it. And it comes as if you are living in a different planet. Number 3 benefit of planning. Motivation and confidence are enhanced because we said in planning, tasks are identified, they are broken down, milestones are created. Accomplishment of each bit gives some satisfaction and boosts motivation to reach for the next. Successfully completing planned tasks can enhance self-confidence and create efficiency. So when you break your tasks in bits, how do you eat an elephant? Cut it in pieces, take one bit at a time. Before you know it, there will be no elephant on the table, big as it is. Our tasks are like that. So you look at tasks, each one that you finish gives you a confidence that the next is possible. So you don't take on the entire task at once. Number 4, planning gives you improved time management and enhanced productivity. I mentioned earlier that if you don't have any plan for your time, you will be an escort to everybody that is going somewhere. Say, are you available? I want to reach Ibadan. Can you escort me? But when you have plan, your time is properly managed. There are projects, there are things that you have allocated your time for. So you prioritize tasks. You ensure team members are spending time on what is truly important. Planning helps to eliminate procrastination because there is always something that you want to do, you are ready for it now. So it will leave little or no room, no space for procrastination when you have broken those tasks down and each person is taking a small step at a time. It does not overwhelm anybody, any member of the team. And number 5 benefit of planning is you have an enhanced resilience and adaptability. Planning can help individuals develop coping strategies for dealing with unexpected setbacks and changes. Adapting to changes by regularly reviewing and adjusting plans, individuals can develop the flexibility and adaptability needed to navigate life's challenges. Life challenges will come to everybody. It will come to those who plan, it will come to those who didn't plan. But because it is not a surprise to those who planned, they are able to check their plan. Where are the shortcomings? Where is the part that is not working? What can I adjust? So that is where your resilience comes in. Now that we have known the benefits that we derive from planning, how do we overcome this resistance to planning? Like the person who said, I don't feel like planning anything. It's expensive to plan. It's time consuming. So if I did not plan, I can be called a failure. Somebody did not write exam to enter university. So when they are calling those who failed, the person will not be called. So it is sweet to stay away from planning, because if you have no plan disclosed, you cannot be called a failure. But it does not make you a success. It only helps you to enjoy your failed state. You will stay with it, you feel comfortable with it. Without planning, you don't make any success. Somebody who did not apply for admission to university, like in the example I mentioned earlier, when they call those who failed, his name will not be in the list. But that does not offer him admission into the university. And when others who entered are graduating, he will never be named a graduate. So I can be happy that my name is not there in the list of those who failed, but it has not made me a success. So to really overcome this fear of planning, we need to take a few steps. Let's look at those steps. Number 1, find out, identify those reasons. What makes you afraid of planning? Don't be afraid to identify the reasons you are afraid. Know why you are afraid of planning. Because any normal person knows that there are benefits to planning. Number 1 is the fear of failure. As in the university example that I gave. If I say I have this plan to be this, and I didn't get there, people will make jest of me and call me a failure. That's a genuine fear. It's okay. But the other side is also not palatable. Not planning at all, not being called a failure, but yet you know in yourself that you have not succeeded. Number 2, we have some people who are perfectionists. You know, there are people who won't start until every condition is perfect. And the Bible says that those who wait for perfect weather will never sow. And if you didn't sow, you know the result. The harvest time, you will be in hunger. And number 3, you may have heard that it takes more time to plan a good project than it takes to execute it. And you have a feeling that planning is a waste of time. These are excuses, but they can be tackled. All of them can be surmounted. So now that we know why most people are afraid to start planning, what can we do about it? So we can talk about how to overcome the fear. We have identified the fear. What do we do to overcome that fear of planning? We should realize, first of all, that every big business started small. One thing that stops people from starting is that they look at where a 30-year-old business is and they think it has always been that way. Break your task into small, manageable sizes and get started in the smallest way possible. Every goal achieved enhances your confidence to take on the next. So those big businesses that you see, I read that Apple, the manufacturers of iPhone, started in the garage. Amazon started in a garage. So I know Pioneer Hybrid Seeds of Iowa, by the time 1992, when they came to Nigeria, they were in 72 countries. It started in a garage. So everything that is big started small. Don't be afraid to start from your small space. Let it be small. Let people laugh. They will still soon come and rejoice with you. Number 2, don't be too hard on yourself. Make your plans flexible and willing to adjust what is not working. By doing this, you will reduce your stress level and make yourself more adaptable to changes and improvements. Some of us will take on what people will say. They will say, I didn't succeed. They will call me a failure. They will say, even the Bible says the righteous may fall 7 times. It will yet rise again. There is nobody who has succeeded who has not failed before. Failure is a necessary part on the road to success. So if you fail, people will laugh at you. They laughed at those successful people that you look at today. People laughed at them. Number 3, learn to celebrate milestones. Reward yourself for every step achieved. This will build your self-esteem and motivate you to do more. So when you do something, don't call it too little. That effort that you make, you put effort, you got result. Celebrate it. Reward yourself. Clap for yourself. It's a way forward. When you do that, there is encouragement, there is self-esteem, there is that understanding that if I did this and I achieve it, the next one is still possible. Number 4, make yourself accountable. How do you make yourself accountable? Look for mentors. Look for trusted friends. Share your goals with them. Share progress. Share challenges. These are people who will cheer you to victory. If you are not accountable to anybody, I've often heard people say, oh, you don't disclose your dream, you don't share your goal. Most of the goals that are not shared, they die on the drawing board. The goals that you share with people who will ask you, how far now? Those are people that will, if you remember that somebody will say, how far? Even when you are tired, you want to rise up and walk again. Do something about it. When you meet challenges, you want to surmount it because you have people who will ask you, how far? And you don't want to disappoint them. That's why I say, look for people you will give account to. Those people will make you not to draw back. And number 5, focus on the desired end. The Bible talked of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, who for the joy set before him endured the cross, despising the shame. He was looking at the glory on the other side of the cross. After the cross, what next? And that was his motivation. Remove your mind from what if it fails and dwell on what if it works. What if it succeeds? A lot of people stay with, what if it doesn't work? What will happen? What will happen? Nobody will die. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You try again. We heard of Thomas Edison, that before electricity bulb came, he made trial 1,000 times before he could succeed. And when he was asked, he said he did not fail. And that should be your own viewpoint. He learned 999 ways on how not to make electric bulb. So he did not fail 999 times. He only learned 999 ways how not to make electric bulb. So if we develop that type of mindset, failure becomes literally impossible. So while you build a new mind, you must see planning as a process, not a product. Learn to enjoy the journey long before you arrive your desired destination. Every step of the journey is important to be enjoyed. And finally, you must enjoy lessons learned along the way, create memories, and see learning and growing as opportunities. Every trial is an opportunity to learn, and every learning is an opportunity for growth. I'm sure that these simple steps will aid your understanding of the need to plan and embrace it as a lifestyle. Where there are no plans, things go awry. Don't be afraid to get started. As I leave you with this statement that has helped me from my youth. I started having this by my bedside when I was in the university. If I try, I might fail. If I don't, failure is sure. Those who try have 50% chance of failing and 50% chance of making success. While those who do not try have 100% chance of failing and 0% of making success. This is where I'll draw the curtain today on the Candid Cast. Thank you for staying tuned. God bless you.